Hi friends, this is Lori Bulow, and I came across this excellent article from the town hall and want to share it with you, and how true it is. President-elect Donald Trump replaces Obama in just one day now, but we're not going to be able to Netflix and chill in the fight for freedom. The left and its establishment allies are desperate to regain the power they see slipping away, and we need to understand that the only way to stop them is to beat them to a pulp and leave them whimpering in the fetal position, crying out for their gender-fluid mummies. The left's strategy is simple: deny normal Americans normalcy. After all, that's what we really want, a return to normal. We haven't experienced real normal since the Democrats denied the legitimate election of Bush back in 2000. You know, during one of those time frames when denying the legitimacy of the president was a phenomenon that could coincidentally only occurs whenever a Republican wins. Then came 9/11, followed by 15 plus years of botched wars and economic decline, along with an unprecedented cultural offensive against normal Americans. Wow, how true this is, friends. Once the only place you heard that average Americans were racist, sexist, homophobic, everything phobic was on college campuses. Now, with the active assistance of Obama and his collaborators, it's everywhere, in our entertainment, in the media, in our faces, and we are sick of it. We want to return to normalcy, and an ironic twist of fate, it was Donald Trump, the most unnormal guy imaginable, who promised it. Hillary Clinton promised more war, more weakness, more of the same economic malaise that has left most of America suffering, and much, much more of the same cultural scolding and calculated oppression of anyone so subhuman as to not live in a city and believe there are only two sexes. Can you believe that, friends? Trump committed to return to America's normal state of economic prosperity, to America's normal state of military abroad, to America's normal state of self-confidence in our own exceptionalism. And we wanted to go back to a time where creepy activists weren't trying to shoehorn men in skirts into our little girls' locker rooms. Normalcy, it's what we want, and liberals want to deny it to us in order to doom Donald Trump and reopen their path back into power. So how will they do it? Constant resistance. And this is how they work, friends. They oppose everything that is good, and anything that is good they go against. And in a normal world, these would-be moderates might cooperate and compromise with the GOP majority to influence policy, but their own party absolutely will not let them do that now. The hard left activists are in control, and they will crush any dissent. So the Democrats who might have moderated and played along now have to defy their party to do so, knowing the activists will not be forgiving. And it'll be wonderful watching the Dems kneecap their 2018 candidates to force utterly symbolic losing party line votes on cabinet appointees and on things like the Obamacare repeal. And this is great for us. It will force the Dems in moderate or even red areas to fall even further out of step with their voters, something that has cost the Dems over 1,000 seats across the country since Obama was sworn in. In 2018, something like 25 Democrats or Dem voting independents are up for election to the Senate, many in moderate areas. If Trump is seen as succeeding, especially on the economy, that could make the midterms a Democrat bloodbath. And then there is the cultural fight in Hollywood. The left is piling on anyone the left is pilling on anyone, I should say, who refuses to completely reject Trump and, by extension, all of us normals. Look at Nicole Kidman, who the fascists attempted to crucify for simply saying what Hillary Clinton had been saying right up until she lost, that you ought to accept the legitimacy of the winner. Look at the death threats against a blind opera singer. Look at those clowns lecturing us at their award shows, narcissism orgies. As the left always does, it is relying on fear to enforce its creepy conformity. It will work for a bit, especially since most entertainers today are craven woofs. In World War II, Jimmy Stewart, I should say, left stardom to fly B-24s over Ludwigshafen. Now, adverse election results make them flee to Arizona to commune with rocks. Many entertainers will decide to lower their profiles in order to avoid the Hollywood Gestapo. But normals won't like the bullying. Normals generally think people should be allowed to say what they want, and they generally think you should respect the president even if you didn't vote for him. Pretty much what Nicole Kidman said. Do you think more normal people or fewer will be going to the next Meryl Streep movies? Sure, her target's demographic of loveless Catwoman will always show up to watch her talk in a funny accent, but the rest of us, hard pass. Then there is the fake moral posturing. We will see plenty of this tactic, and we need to laugh at it. The notion that because John Lewis got beat up by fellow Democrats a half-century ago somehow immunizes him from criticism for his cheesy lies about and general scuminess toward Republicans today is a joke. It's always fun to watch liberals unilaterally designate heroes and inform us we're not allowed to say anything negative about their antics. When John McCain was running what could only, in the loosest sense of the word, be called a campaign against Obama, the left wasn't enforcing the hero exemption on his behalf. That only became a thing again when it became a useful thing again after Trump ignored it. Democrats don't get to choose my heroes or yours, and we need to aggressively reject this tiresome gambit. What about the lying mainstream media? Those hacks, no one's listening to them anymore. Still, every day, every story is going to be about the tyranny that is Trump, except there won't be any actual tyranny. Homelessness is going to make a big comeback now that Obama is gone. Everything will hit women, minorities, and men claiming to have uterus hardest. No one cares in pulling the same nonsense. The dying media will only hasten its own long overdue demise. Hey media, remember those false, perverted stories about Trump? Who do you think suffered a net loss of credibility, him or you? Then there are the boycotts. Now, wussy corporate leaders will often roll over when a bunch of leftists tell them what to do. But, it gets old. Eventually, companies are going to realize that you can't succeed when you are alienating at least half of the population. How true. People now, plus now, I should say, we have a president who will not hesitate to call out dirtbags. A couple tweets from the president about companies who are dicing, his supporters, and that may go against their priorities. Now, do we want a president directing his people away from private companies that engage in policies he dislikes? In theory, no. But now that you libs have changed the rules, heck yeah, we need to deal the pain right back at them. It's the only way they will learn. And this is true, friends. A key problem with the liberal resistance strategy is that constant activism is totally exhausting. It's even, I should say, exhausting to watch. Normal people are already tuning out daily deluge of anti-Trump fake news and the lying mainstream media. The liberal strategy is to turn everything up to 11, but you can't do that for 4 years. While the hardcore left is invested in its hatred of our new president, most of America is not. They don't want every waking hour of their lives spent listening to people whine about Trump, especially when they generally like what he's doing. The fact is, Trump is already doing well. The market's up. He's getting commitments for new jobs from big companies, and Obamacare is getting a stake through its putrid heart. And the normals, are going to tune out of the hate and re-elect him to spite you liberal twerps. And I thought this was a great article because it really is true, friends. And I'll go ahead and post more info below. This is Lori Bulow.